It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner!
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenny Walker! Touchdown! Smart!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown to Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Wednesday morning to all of you. The 10th day of April, 2024. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us. No matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Our Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter, XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network at .com to find our website. XB Mornings, gmail.com is the fan feedback email inbox. Find us all individually on X. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze, and I'm Anthony Bellino at AEC Bellino. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Happy Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Tough day today.
Yeah.
Tough day today. That was it, man. That was it. Red Wings season.
Yep.
Kaput after last night. Needed it. Exciting game. A period and a half of just stress and chaos. Of course, the Capitals get an incredible effort between the pipes, and just is what it is. And they lost the game, and I can only imagine what that's going to bring today. Can only imagine what today's show will be like and how things will go. But excited to talk about it. Excited to, discuss what took place yesterday with the Detroit Tigers, as they were winners as well. We've got some thoughts here, some Twitter stuff. People chirping back and forth yesterday, so clear the air there. The Golden State Warriors taking care of business last night against the LA Lakers. That was good to see. Needed that one. That's a 9-10 matchup right there. Curry and the Warriors. LeBron and the Lakers fighting for what is going to be the NBA's play-in tournament, which, it works. People watch it, but and there's some teams, in the Western Conference, there are some teams that, probably they would have made it in the East, so gives them an opportunity, and we don't have to hear about how bad, right, one conference is versus the other. I think that's pretty cool. We can stop hearing about, the West is so much better than the East or vice versa, depending on what decade you grew up in. It is interesting how the West has been overall better since, I don't know, maybe like the last 15 years, maybe 20. It's not to say that an Eastern team hasn't won, but it is interesting how much better the West has been. And look, I'm just a little bit distraught after last night. I am a little bit distraught after what took place with our Detroit Red Wings and the Washington Capitals. Just very, very unfortunate. That was a big game. That was a must-win / can't lose / whatever, and they didn't do what they needed to do. And now they're going to need some help on the way out, and that just you hate having to rely on other teams. Just not good, man. Not good. But there's plenty to go, and to see with the rest of this week, might unfold for the Detroit Red Wings. What else is going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
All right, huge news. We'll start in MLB baseball. The Detroit Tigers picked up a must-needed victory. Good for them. That's always exciting. Beat the Pittsburgh Pirates. They rallied in the ninth, put up a 4-spot in the ninth inning, and able to win 5-3 over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates are having a good year, though. I mean, they're 9-3. We'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. Ex-Dodgers pitcher Julio Urias has been charged with 5 misdemeanors in the wake of his September arrest on suspicion of felony domestic violence. The charges filed to Los Angeles Superior Court by the city's attorney's office on Monday include 1 count of spousal battery, 1 count of false imprisonment, 1 count of assault, 2 counts of domestic battery involving dating relationship, according to a spokesperson. That doesn't sound good. We had the New York Rangers head coach Peter Laviolette called 2 hits by the Islanders players vicious after an intense 4-2 loss at UBS Arena on yesterday evening, and it was Rangers center Mike Zibanejad who skated into the shoulder of an Islanders defenseman at center ice. Both were watching the play down in the Rangers zone, and I don't know if they're necessarily dangerous hits or if he's just complaining. I'm not really sure, but it's not ideal if you're the Rangers because you're trying to make that move for the Stanley Cup. You can't afford to lose anybody right now. On the eve of his shoulder surgery, the Devils shut down Jack Hughes. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive. The guy's even out there skating around while he's got to have surgery. So, season-ending surgery coming up later on today. The Sacramento Kings center, Domantas Sabonis' double-double streak has ended at 61 games. He had 8 points and 13 rebounds in the 112-105 loss to OKC last night. It's a pretty incredible number there. Are you kidding me? Double-doubles in 61 consecutive games? That's impressive. Anthony Edwards scored a career-high 51 points as the Timberwolves had to rally a little bit. Edwards had 30 points in the second half, the most in his young career, so good for him. I'm a big fan of Anthony Edwards. The Celtics and the Bucks combined for a record-low 2 free throw attempts in their game yesterday. Celtics also became the first team in NBA history to not shoot a free throw. It was a 104-91 victory. Nobody shot a free throw for the Celtics. That's crazy. Speaking of the Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo was helped off the court with a calf injury. He's going to have some imaging done, not only on the calf, but also on the Achilles. The hip drop tackle, quote, needed to be out, according to the Ravens head coach, John Harbaugh. My question is, how in the world are they going to tackle anybody? And what's that going to look like now moving forward? Because that's it's going to be a problem. It is, I mean, and how's it going to be officiated? That's the other thing. That's what we want to know. And we want the game to be consistently called, and I just don't know how you're supposed to be playing defense right now in 2024. We're going to step aside. By the way, the Masters comes up tomorrow, which is very exciting as well. Hopefully it'll be Tigers tournament, and that much is for sure. I'm really, really excited about this year's Masters at Augusta. We'll step aside. We'll be back when we return. We got to get to that Pistons game. Just is what it is. We'll talk about it next here. X and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here with a reminder that on Thursday, April 25th, I'll be in Detroit for the NFL Draft. I'll be broadcasting live 3 until 6 from the world-famous Caucus Club as they prepare for the private NFL VIP party with Br0's Sports Management and certified NFL PA agent David Gregory. We'll be joined by Josh Garvey and his team from Dorn Mayhew, Matt Golden, the CEO at the Tullymore Golf Resort, will check in, and also our friends from Coppercraft Distillery. Be listening for your chance to win a VIP bracelet to get in to this private NFL Draft Night Bash at the Caucus Club in downtown Detroit, less than a half mile from the NFL Draft Stage. It's being presented by the Michigan Sports Network and David Gregory and Bull Rush Sports Management. Be listening to the Huge Show for your chance to win a VIP bracelet to the huge NFL Draft Watch Party Thursday, April 25th in Detroit.
We played for the thrill, that rush you feel with the game on the line. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver. Now, with Eagle Casino and Sports, the new sportsbook app from Soaring Eagle, anywhere I'm at, I'm still in the game.
Sign up now and get up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 for a risk-free bet on your next favorite underdog, parlay, or prop.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio and worldwide in the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. 866-838-4843. All right, we got to do it because it happened last night. I'm committed to the process. The Detroit Pistons fell 102-120 to the Philadelphia 76ers. I did not foresee this game going very well for the Detroit Pistons. Jalen Duren had 15 and 11 with 2 assists. Jaden Ivey on 8 of 17 shooting from the field, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Marcus Sasser, 10, 3, and 5 for him. Not really too worried about anybody else who did anything in the game. Not worried about Malachi Flynn, although he had a decent game, 5 of 9 from the floor and 12 points following that big 50-point explosion. That's cool, but just not the roster. I mean, it just is what it is. It's just not the roster. So they played last night. What I thought was very interesting is that Philadelphia won the series 4-0. That's a 4-0 series sweep in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers. That seems kind of odd, right? Well, it's like, well, how many other teams have the Pistons been swept by? Keith Trudeau went and did the numbers last night. The Pistons have now been swept in the season by Atlanta, Boston, Cleveland, Denver, Golden State, Houston, Indiana, the LA Clippers, the LA Lakers, Memphis, Miami, Milwaukee, Minnesota, New Orleans, New York, Orlando, Philadelphia, Phoenix, and Utah. They are a combined 0-56. That is astounding. Astounding to be swept by that many teams in the same league as you. Now, it's not a quick fix. This is not going to be a quick fix. At least I don't believe so. I don't think that there's a player, and we might all be wrong, and maybe this is how it goes, right? The NBA says, oh, man, this is a terrible draft class. But the same people that are calling this a terrible draft class are saying that LeBron James Jr., a.k.a. Bronny James, is good to go and that he is going to be – he's already an NBA defender. The guy plays like 6 minutes a game at USC. What are we talking about? Like Shams' tweet yesterday, like, just admit you're on the payroll. Just admit LeBron wants you to tweet out stuff to hype up his son, or you're doing him a favor, and I can respect that more. I can respect that more if you're just honest to me about it. But that's just ridiculous. Guy couldn't play at USC. You think he's going to play in the NBA? But somebody will take him, and they'll take him because they want the chance to get LeBron, and that's what it is. You want a chance at a top 5 all-time player? Draft the kid? Only got to deal with him for a couple of years? You sell a ton of tickets, father-son combo. You're going to have ESPN living at your arena. Like, of course. Of course you're going to do that. As for the Pistons, maybe that's the only hope. Maybe they got to draft Bronny Jr. They have to. Wouldn't that be something? They got to draft Bronny James to get LeBron James Sr. on the Detroit Pistons. Can you imagine? And now that's a test. That I would love to see how that would work. How everybody would just immediately flip. I don't expect this team to win. I just want Jaden Ivey to play well so that I don't have to read on Twitter how they're going to trade him. I'm the Twitter GMs. I'm really interested to see what the return would be. You told me that, we were going to be able to trade Killian Hayes. We had to release him. Couldn't even get a bag of balls for that guy. I don't think that Jaden Ivey, when I watch him play, I think there's a ton of potential there. Sorry I didn't see that with Killian. But, it's going to have to start on the defensive side. Everybody wants to talk about shot making. Defensively, this team as a whole needs to improve. Now, I did see via the Old Man in the 3 podcast, that's JJ Redick. They asked him about all bench lineups in 2024. And when he was asked about it, he was like taken aback by it. Like, no, absolutely not. And it was like, God, I wish he would show Monty Williams this. Because he said, why would you play an all-bench lineup? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, we're so much smarter now in rotations. And I'm like, no, we're not. We're not. I watched an entire season of, well, 3/4 of a season because, the other 25%, nobody played. So, whatever. Right? But there were, even in the beginning of the year when everybody was healthy, and by everybody, I mean Jalen, Jaden, Nassar, and Cade, the core four, as we like to call them here on this program. I like the core four. They got a nice ring to it. But never should you run out an all-bench lineup. It just shouldn't happen. You got your starters, right? You got your second team, your bench. You got your reserves. We've had this discussion before, making sure everybody's well aware of what each designated position does. Starters got to play 30 minutes a night. There's no reason not to. You could stagger the minutes when you finally get a full staff back. If you're going to go Jalen Duren, his sub's going to be James Wiseman. Okay, Wiseman's shown some glimpses here and there throughout the course of the season. All right, I can go with James Wiseman there. And if you want to go with beef stew for a Fontecchio, okay. All right. Asar Thompson, Cade, and Jaden Ivey. I like that starting five. I like Marcus Sasser and Isaiah Stewart off the bench. That's where I would be. That left knee management from Cade Cunningham, boy, that's a real son of a gun, isn't it? Left knee management. The rest of this roster, though, you should only go 8-9 guys deep on a regular basis anyways. We just it's Monty, man. He's done a terrible job. Somebody tweeted out last night, Wembanyama went with a Shamgod dribble into a spin move in the paint and then laid it in, and it looked by the way, he's got his new logo out. They released the Wemby logo. It's like an alien head in a basketball. It's pretty cool. But we look at the skill that he has, and the joke was like, oh man, if Wemby would have got, would have loved to see him backing up James Wiseman if we would have drafted him. And it's like, oh wow, yeah, that's interesting. If Wemby would have been out there, what they would have done with Jalen Duren. But these are questions we'll never need to know the answers to, because Wemby will never leave San Antonio unless he wants to. If he wants to leave in free agency, fine, but he is going to be tasked with being the guy on that franchise moving forward. And it just stinks because this team has been so flipping bad. And we got a ping pong ball, right? We got a ping pong ball. So it's but to not have the opportunity at Apollo Banchero, to not have an opportunity at a Wemby, like the guys that can flip your franchise around, just don't know if we got that. Really don't know if we got that. The other night when we lost to Memphis and we rolled out, 3 lottery picks. Like, that's crazy. But that's the NBA, and that's the Detroit Pistons, and that's about as all I can say about that team. I really like it. It is such a task to try to talk about them. Thank God the season is almost over. That's what we need to, that's what we need to focus on. It's almost done. I don't know if anybody was watching them last night anyways. With the Red Wings being on big ESPN, maybe you could dual screen and catch both. But the Pistons will be off tonight, and they play tomorrow is game 1 of a back-to-back versus the Bulls, and then at the Dallas Mavericks. So they'll go out to Texas and get slaughtered out there. And after that back-to-back, they'll play on the 14th, and then we'll be done. And then we will be done. So off today. They've got Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. And then it's playoff time. So that'll be exciting. All right, we're going to step aside. When we return, the Detroit Red Wings lost the game. We got a lot to talk about in that hockey game last night. A lot to talk about. So get your phones out, get them ready, send your flaming hot takes. Text the keyword sports radio, send that to 21,000, sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. 866-838-HUGE. Reaction to a devastating loss to the Detroit Red Wings last night next here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he's a managing shareholder at Doran Mayhew's Grand Rapids office. Their world headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state, and they have locations all around the world. They have over 550 motivated accounting professionals, 90 years in business, and I mentioned the 10 offices worldwide. So if you want to connect and partner with one of the top CPA accounting and business firms in the world, they're right here in Michigan. Dorn Mayhew's Troy office on the east side of the state, and Josh Garvey is a managing shareholder for their Dorn Mayhew GR office. Right there by the S-curve, you'll see the new Dorn Mayhew sign. You can find out more. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. That's DOERENMAYHEW or Dorn.com. They're one of America's and the world's top CPA accounting and business firms. They're Dorn Mayhew.
We're teeing off our 10th year at the Meijer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Get ready for the best tour yet to help neighbors in need while enjoying golf, food, and family fun. Join us June 13th through the 16th at Blythefield Country Club for fabulous food, Discoveryland for kids, and of course, elite women golfers from around the world, competing to help feed our neighbors. Get your tickets now at MeijerLPGAClassic.com.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio. Let's get after it. Just say it. Cade isn't a leader. You don't work for the Pistons. Say it. Quit blaming Monty. Quit and blame Cade and Weaver. 5 years, no extra picks. OKC and Utah have about 30 first-round picks. Quit blaming Monty. It's M-O-N-T-Y, by the way. And let's quit acting like Ivy and Duran are stars. But, hey, what do I know? I'm just a fan. Please, here we go. Yep, let's get it started early. Just get it started early. When the offseason discussions start off, will Steve Yzerman look to DeBrincat as a big failure? The head coach, the problem, or a few of the players who spouted off in the media saying, go ask the coach? Or where are all those double-digit scorers that were shoved into my ears? Well, the double-digit scorers are still there. Where was your boy Patrick Kane last night? What happened? Where was Patrick Kane? He was the guy. He changes everything. You got an empty net, 6-on-5 goal to make it 2-1 with 2 seconds remaining. Hey, where was he at for the first 40 minutes of this game? We could say this too, right? I don't mean that. I'm just being contrarian. I don't actually mean that about Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane's been fantastic. We could say this. The other team, that would be the Washington Capitals. I said this last night on Twitter. Some people don't seem to understand this, but I do want to make this clear. The other team, they have professional players too. The other team in this scenario, the Washington Capitals, are also playing for their playoff lives. And with the victory, jump a point ahead of the Detroit Red Wings and right now are in second place in the wild card chase. The other team happens to have a Hall of Famer who last night set an NHL record with his 18th 30-goal season. You remember TJ Oshie and what he was able to do in the Olympics? You remember that. They have Pacioretty, they have Ovechkin, they have Oshie. And for whatever reason, Lindgren all of a sudden decided that he was going to be the second coming of like Nikolai Khabibulin plus Eddie Belfour. Like, what are we? I mean, every time we got to play the guy, he's just made it brick and mortar. I don't get it. I mean, talk about rising to the occasion. We are allowed as fans to understand that the other team in this scenario is also filled with not only professional players, but a Hall of Famer on their roster. Alexander Ovechkin is a Hall of Fame player. That's what a Hall of Famer looks like. I've said this for a very long time. If Alexander Ovechkin played in the 80s, come on. 18 30-goal seasons. That is remarkable. I mean, it's historic. He's the only player to ever do it. Nobody else has that many 30-goal seasons. Some guys don't play 18 months in the NHL. This guy has 18 30-goal seasons. I do need to hear where the, quote, go ask the coach. I need to see where that comes from. Did I miss something? I could have missed something, but I don't remember seeing something along those lines. If you have the quote, who said the quote, and when they said it, I would love to go back and listen to it. Now, I don't need to read that. I need to listen to it because I want to hear the context of the question. I want to hear the tone of voice. I want to hear the nuance involved in something like that. Ryan is on the line. Good morning, Ryan. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Hump Day. Hump Day.
Yeah, sure. Happy Hump Day. Whatever. I'm done with our teams failing us. I don't want to hear, well, the other teams have professionals too. Where were our professionals? Okay, this is the first time I heard Andrew Kopp's name in 6 months, and it's only because he broke his cheek last night.
Yeah, poor guy got his face broken.
Cool. That's the first time your name's been called in 3 months. Great signing. Great showing up, Andrew Kopp. Alex DeBrincat's been a no-show for a month. Our defense turns it over like it's a bakery downriver. It's just like this isn't like, hey, other teams are outperforming the Red Wings and we're missing the playoffs. No, the Red Wings are letting stuff dribble down their leg for the last month. That's what's the infuriating part. It's not other teams outperforming. Washington hasn't been outperforming the Red Wings for the month. The Red Wings have just been worse the last month.
Yeah,
Washington was like
you're not wrong.
Going into this game.
You're not wrong there. I mean, they lost, 6 consecutive games going into this contest against the Wings last night?
Yeah, so that's why I don't want to hear there's professionals on the other side. It's like, okay, where are professionals?
Do we have anybody on our team that's as good as Alexander Ovechkin?
Doesn't matter right now.
Do we have a goal? Yeah, it absolutely does, because we have a goaltender that's as good as Lindgren.
Because you're making excuses for this team that doesn't deserve them. That's what you're doing.
No, but that's the thing. It's not an excuse to acknowledge the fact.
It is an excuse for you. You're excusing them of absolutely blowing a playoff spot.
I'm not denying
because a Hall of
the fact
Famer
that they
in the
dribbled
league
down their
and
leg.
Hasn't played well for 3 months.
I mean, 30-goal season's pretty impressive. To do it 18 times is pretty impressive.
So is blowing this wild card spot. That's pretty impressive by this team, too.
It's been pretty
do we have
pretty
a Hall of
upsetting.
Famer on our roster? Wait, do we have a Hall of Famer on our roster? Oh, wait, that's what we do, Patrick Kane. Oh, but don't worry.
I think the situations are a little bit different.
Reference.
I think the situations are a little bit different, but that's okay. I understand what you are presenting.
20-goal season to 30 goals, but 20 goals because Patrick Kane didn't play for the first 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and coming off of a massive surgery where guys typically don't come back off of, the hip resurfacing. He has been a pleasant surprise, and I'm glad that his career, at least at this point for 35 years old, although he doesn't look a day over 18, I'm glad that his career is trending in the right direction, that hopefully he'll be able to play many years moving forward. That does not excuse at all what has taken place, because with this loss, I believe that the Red Wings, and all losses are the same. You lose, you lose. Okay, you get a point, but that's fine. I believe they're 5-14 in their last 19 games, if I'm not mistaken, which includes that epically disastrous 7-game losing streak where you coughed up and lost your opportunity, basically. Now, it's not over. They're not eliminated from the playoffs. But that loss last night, that felt like a railroad tie. That felt like the stake that just pins them down and says, you know what, we were close, but it's not going to happen this year.
Woo. That's been Detroit sports the last decade.
Have they been this close, though? And did the Detroit Lions not just win the division and make 2 playoff games? Now, as for the other 3.
We're not talking about the Lions. Oh, no, stop.
You said
Stop
Detroit sports. You said Detroit sports. They are a Detroit sport. It hasn't been all doom and gloom, death to all of us. Right? There has been success.
Season in 10 years for one team.
Not just a good season, a historic season, Ryan.
I don't care right now, Anthony. Okay? I'm a little tired of the let's give a team a pass because they were so close and other teams tried hard too.
I'm going to say this. And I really this is going to sound a little crass here. If we had a team like, let's say, Florida or, I don't care, New York Rangers, I'd pick whatever team at the top of the same. The Colorado Avalanche, for example, if you stayed up and watched the Avs last night. If we had a team like that, do you believe that our captain, Dylan Larkin, would be the number 1 center on that team?
I don't know. I don't know enough.
The answer is no. The answer is
we
no.
had Nathan McKinnon on our team? No. But, again, this is a whole team effort of why we're here. This is, Dylan Larkin, he's our number one center. He also missed, those 7 games of that 7-game losing streak, kind of showing his importance to the team.
Oh, he's very important.
You have Alex DeBrincat and Andrew Kopp, 2 big free agent signings the last 2 seasons. No showing at the most important time of the season. Again, I'm railroading this Andrew Kopp because, I don't know if I've heard his name all season outside of him breaking his cheek last night. The guy has been absolutely nothing the whole year.
He hasn't been great. He has not been great. As for DeBrincat, who's gone ice cold here. You're talking about 1 goal scored in the entire month of March, a pivotal month. 1 goal, 5 assists, a total of 6 points. He has 1 assist through 4 games thus far. We're looking at the 2 most pivotal months of the season, and the guy has been nowhere to be found. If you want to go to January, he had 1 goal in the month of January, and he is a guy that when the season began, he was ripping and roaring. He had 9 goals in the month of October. 9 of his 24 on the season. 40% of his goals came from 1 month in the beginning of the year, and he's been ice cold since. It's unfortunate. I understand that guys do go through cold spurts. I get that. But at the same time, you got to shake yourself loose at some point of this. You have to. Alex Lyon was pretty good last night. This team came out, and for a period and a half last night, they played a really hard, intense game. They chased the puck around. They were putting pucks on net. They were blocking shots. They were doing everything necessary, and that first one goes in against you, and it's just like, there's the balloon pop.
Because what's been the biggest issue for the Red Wings for, 7 years? Getting the puck out of their own zone. Is their defense actually helping out their goaltenders? Because, the goaltending play hasn't been that bad this season. What's been bad is their defense helping their goalies out.
Blue line
it came to its rearing head last night where, hey, you put pressure on them for a good 25 minutes to start the game and just couldn't get one to fall. And then as soon as your pressure stopped, you let Washington seem like hold it in your zone for seemed like the last 10 minutes of the second period. And then you get this awful turnover that leads to an easy Ovechkin goal.
For the Wings in last night's game, out shooting as a whole 43-23 to Washington, and couldn't get a single one to trickle in prior to Kane's 6-on-5 there at the end. I mean, it is beyond frustrating because it felt like, man, especially early on, and then, some of the opportunities that we had and some of the shots that we had, it was like, okay, all right, one of these is going to drop, and it didn't. It didn't. If those go in and the Wings win 2-1, I think people in general feel a whole hell of a lot different. The reason I bring that up about Dylan Larkin is he a number 1 center on a real contender, not somebody chasing a wild card. Like a real contender in this league. The answer is probably not. He's probably closer to a number 2 or a number 3 on a Stanley Cup team. We do not have the size on the flanks, right? We don't have enough skill to out-finesse people. The blue line needs help, and we don't have – Alex Lyon's played great. He's played great this season as a whole. The 23-24 campaign is going to that's a great year for him. But he's not a number 1 goaltender. Neither is Ville Husso. Neither is James Reimer. And that's kind of like quarterbacks. If you have 2 goaltenders, if you have 3 goaltenders, you probably don't have a goaltender. Same with quarterbacks. You got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. You need your one guy who's going to start 70% of the season and the other guy that's going to get spot starts just to give your guy a day off. But you need to have that predetermined, this is the number one guy, and very much like quarterback play. I mean, you could look at it statistically, go through goals against average, go through save percentage, go through the goalie metrics. You know, Alex Lyon's a bottom third goaltender in the league, but he has to be our number one because we don't have one. You know, we were expecting Ville Husso to come in this year and to be that guy. And, you know, injury. Hey, and Alex Lyon had a really, really good month, right? January, Derek Lalonde talked about it. He said, like, the months like this don't necessarily happen in the NHL. And he was right. He was right. Lonnie says those professionals have won 2 of their last 8 games, both against Detroit. Talking about Washington. Every team in the NHL has professionals. Detroit has too many guys getting paid that shouldn't be. It was a roster that was put together that I felt like we could feel relatively good about. And they are, look, you can get lost all you want, and you can be mad all you want here and get lost into this 60 minutes of puck. You can absolutely do that, and that's totally fine. As Lalonde said yesterday via, who was it, Emily Kaplan, you know, he feels the urgency. Yzerman a lot more calm at this stage of the game. It's unfortunate that we lost, but we played in a game that actually meant something. And that, to me, is a step in the right direction. That, to me, is progress. I like that.
Hand him a trophy, then.
Unfortunately,
Put the plaque up in LCA. Lost to Washington Capitals to 5th last.
I can't go Indianapolis Colts here.
On the playoffs.
Participated in the final week of the season. I can't go full blown Indianapolis Colts.
Let's put it up. Let's put the plaque and banner up. We can open it up next season at LCA. No, the truth is the Red Wings have 4 games left to prove all the angry people wrong.
And if they don't,
the thing is, though, if they don't, then we're all right. Not all right when we are correct in our opinions.
Yep, correct. No Kane, and when no Kane, no Wings show up. Thank goodness for Ryan for saying it. He works in the media, so he's right. No way they bring back that coach. Stevie can't bring him back. For those players, the rumors are already out there by credible sources. I just point them to me. Just tag me in it. Just send me a link. Do something. Just do something. Just do something, right? It's like the guy with the stick. That's what we want to see. UFC 300 is right around the corner, and now is the time to get in on all the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the UFC. They're giving you a chance to get in on the action with a knockout offer for every fight fan. New customers bet $5 on UFC 300 and turn that $5 into $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code HUGE. New customers can bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Michigan. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/MMA. We'll step aside. More X's and Bros after this Michigan Sports Network.
We're teeing off our 10th year at the Meijer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Get ready for the best tour yet to help neighbors in need while enjoying golf, food, and family fun. Join us June 13th through the 16th at Blythefield Country Club for fabulous food, Discoveryland for kids, and of course, elite women golfers from around the world, competing to help feed our neighbors. Get your tickets now at MeijerLPGAClassic.com.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archived boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Get ready to win big every Friday in April during Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort's 43rd gaming anniversary. Every hour from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., 2 winners will receive $500 in premium play. Then at 10 p.m., 1 lucky winner will walk away with $4,300 cash. The celebration doesn't stop there. On April 26th at 10 p.m., 1 lucky player will take home the grand prize of $43,000 cash. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports and Network. Great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are. All across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. Great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you're listening. I think I already said that. Either way, we appreciate you. You can get involved in the show. You can text the keyword Sports Radio, send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Our Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. You can tweet at us at XB Mornings, Facebook us, X's and Bros, and, of course, good morning to our television audience as well. BCSN, streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. We just got through, I guess, a therapeutic segment about the Detroit Red Wings, where it is interesting to me that here's the deal, because there was a lot of you say quit blaming Monty and blame Cade and Weaver. Okay. So you don't want me to blame the coach for the Pistons winning 13 games, but you do want me to blame Derek Lalonde. That is that, and the reason I can blame Monty Williams, and I don't have to go to, I click the link, doesn't tell me anything. Like, the link tells me absolutely nothing, thehockeywriters.com. A source says this, all right. A source says that Bronny James is already an NBA defender. Okay, sorcery, right? This is where I have to call this into question, and I need you to do this for me, because when I call out Monty Williams, I can point to specific reasons as to why I disagree with what's taking place. I can point to specific instances, not thoughts, not, oh, he didn't have the guys ready. No, you don't know what that, you have no idea what that pregame looked like. But I can point to on the floor with Monty Williams on a myriad of different places. And we could start right off the top with the easiest thing to point to. He started Killian Hayes over Jaden Ivey. That's the easiest thing, and did it all season. All season, for no reason. Now, if you don't like Jaden Ivey, that's totally fine. If you were a Killian Hayes defender, I don't know why. But if you were, here's my question. If you want to trade Jaden Ivey, that means somebody would be willing to part with something in order to acquire his services. Nobody did that for Killian, because Killian Hayes is not an NBA player. Period. That's why. So there's an instance. I can look at what this team did in the first half of the season. This second half of the season, guys out of the lineup, this is all just a wash. I really like Fontecchio. I think he's got a spot on this team in the future. Why you're rolling out beef stew with Jalen Duren, I question that. Defensively, how we have zero identity, and a lot of times we look completely lost defensively. Those are specific things. The amount of time that the bench unit has gotten. If you're only going to win 13 games, you might as well let the young guys who you believe are going to be the stars on this team play. I can point to specific instances. You want to fire a coach without having you cannot point to me as to why you want to fire the coach. That's my biggest question. Why do you want to do that? The HockeyWriters.com article / Red Wings coaching candidate Lalone replacement didn't do anything for me. If Steve Yzerman moves on from Derek Lalone and you say, hey, that's the right call because he's in year 2 of a 3-year deal, okay. If Steve Yzerman makes the call on it and moves on from him, okay. There's nothing I can do. We change coaches. But you can't tell me to blame a coach for failing miserably when I can give you specific instances and reasoning as to why. You can't bring the same thing to me for the Detroit Red Wings. Explain to me why you want him fired. That's what I'm asking you to do. Give me the reason. Not because we outshot the Capitals 2-1. Not because we played a relatively good game and their goaltender stood on his head for 3 periods. Not because of that. Give me a reason as to why you want him fired. Well, they lost 7 games in a row. Okay. And throughout the course of those 7 games, what's the common denominator? What is it? They lost 1 good game in that stretch before last night. I would say that last night, now outside of the fact that, the timing of it isn't great, the 1 good game they lost was the Nashville Predators 1-0. They can't hold anybody under 2 goals, and it happened last night, and they couldn't get a win. Couldn't put the puck in the back of the net. Not for a lack of chances. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. And late in the second period, between Strome and Ovechkin, that's the ball game. That's hard. Charlie Lindgren decides that he's going to go Eddie the Eagle on us, and that's where we're at. So just explain to me, because I'm waiting for the go ask the coach. I need to see where that was, what players spouted off and said that. So if you could send me that link, that would be great. If they lose to Pittsburgh or Toronto, we're toast. The Wings are squandering their chance at the playoffs at the worst possible time, from Big Al on YouTube. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. This was the worst time of the year. If they would have lost 7 games in November, we could probably look back at this point in the season and say, yep, remember that 7-game stretch in November? We could do that. To lose 7 games in the month of March as a team fighting for a wild card berth, to then go 3-1 over 4 games and then lose 4 more consecutively, to lose back-to-back games to the team that just took you over. The last 2 times they played the Capitals, they've lost. They lost 4-3, and then they, in Washington, and just lost 2-1. That is some of all fears story writing right there. That's where they're at. So if you can explain to me, give me a good reason as to why, then okay. All right. That's all I'm asking. Tell me why. And if you can explain to me why, and you have good reasoning, I'm willing to listen. I'm not an irrational person. I'm willing to hear what you have to say. But this idea that the Red Wings are the only team out there, this idea that other teams aren't playing for their lot, the Washington Capitals, I don't think they outplayed the Detroit Red Wings last night. I don't think that's the case at all. Do I want Alex DeBrincat to score? Absolutely. Without question, I want him to score. End the drought, man. Like, that's tough. That's a tough stretch to go into. You want to blame specific players on specific teams and blame specific coaches and blame specific GMs, but I'm not getting any real reasoning. Anthony, I'll drop it, okay? Stop justifying it. I understand. I respect Lalone as a friend. It doesn't matter if Lalone's a friend. I just need you to explain, because you don't know. You have no idea. You can't give me a reason. You can't give me cause. You can't point to anything out there in what you're watching and tell me this is the reason why he needs to be gone because of X, Y, and Z. That's why. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here with a reminder that on Thursday, April 25th, I'll be in Detroit for the NFL Draft. I'll be broadcasting live 3 until 6 from the world-famous Caucus Club as they prepare for the private NFL VIP party with Br0's Sports Management and certified NFL PA agent David Gregory. We'll be joined by Josh Garvey and his team from Dorn Mayhew, Matt Golden, the CEO at the Tullymore Golf Resort, will check in, and also our friends from Coppercraft Distillery. Be listening for your chance to win a VIP bracelet to get in to this private NFL Draft Night Bash at the Caucus Club in downtown Detroit, less than a half mile from the NFL Draft Stage. It's being presented by the Michigan Sports Network and David Gregory and Bull Rush Sports Management. Be listening to the Huge Show for your chance to win a VIP bracelet to the huge NFL Draft Watch Party Thursday, April 25th in Detroit.
There's a new player in town. Hi, I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver, and I'm talking about Eagle Casino and Sports, the real money mobile casino. It's so easy to play. You can go from wager to winner to wallet, just like that.
Sign up now and we'll match your deposit up to $1,500. Or you can get a risk-free bet up to $1,000.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older in Michigan to play.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com. Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. We are just having a great day today. We're doing well. Everybody's doing well right now. Here's another text. I'm getting tired of being told, give me one reason or send me the links. I don't make stuff up. We were talking about the Wings failing, and you come at me about Monty because you can't discuss. I can discuss things. I don't have a gag order. I don't know what this made-up narrative is that I can't have a discussion. We're having a discussion right now. That's what we're doing. See, here's the thing. This might be the difference. I allow what I'm watching to formulate my opinions, not what somebody else is writing or saying. There's the difference. And now, it's okay if you don't like my opinions. That's okay. It's okay if you disagree with my opinions. That's totally fine, too. But I base mine in what I'm actually seeing. If you want to turn back the clock for an example of Michigan football, I had a lot of questions about Michigan football. A lot. Throughout a majority of the season. I wasn't just hitching my cart to the wagon right off the bat and saying, oh, it's Michigan, like, we're going to win it all. Like, I was not one of those people. I didn't have them number one for weeks. It wasn't until they actually won the playoff game where I'm like, okay, all right, we actually won it. So now I can, now we can say some different things. Beating Ohio State, great. Ohio State under Ryan Day is not the same as Ohio State under Urban Meyer. You can tell the difference. You can see the difference in the state of the program. We know that. Well, I know that. They finally got over the hump and beat Alabama in the Rose Bowl, and then it became, now you just didn't make it. Okay, great. Just making it wasn't good enough. You are telling me that you want a coach fired. I'm asking you to tell me why. You are telling me that players are spouting off about their coach. I have not seen that. So I would like to see it. I would like to watch it. I would. That's why I'm asking to send me the link. That's all. That's all. Because I want to be able to hear it with my own ears. I don't want to come in through a backdoor channel. Somebody said this, somebody said that. There was a source somewhere. Like, no, I want to hear from the player where they maybe directly or indirectly took a shot at their head coach. That's what I want to hear. If that's something where a player is speaking out against the head coach, that's something that's worth listening to. A lot of the other stuff, I'm not really worried about it. It's not about being a good guy or a bad guy. All I asked is to explain to me why. If you want to go to Juwan Howard as the most fair and honest radio show host in America preseason, what did I say? This team's going to shock some people. Little did I know they were going to shock me by being as bad as they were. Was I not fair and honest in my assessment of Juwan Howard's job? When talking about moving on from Juwan Howard, was I not fair, honest, and balanced as to here are the reasons as to why? You aren't getting the top-level recruit. You're not. You're building your roster based off of the transfer portal. That's not a great idea. That's a Band-Aid. That's not that is not, those are the accompaniments, what they call those at dinner. That's your lobster mac and cheese. But you got to recruit that 4-year filet mignon. That's the basis of the meal. If we're going to go out to dinner, I for one, would like a surf and turf. I would like a filet and a lobster tail. Don't just throw the asparagus and the Brussels sprouts at me, the mac and cheese and all the fries and everything else. Like, we need the meal, the meat and the potatoes, if you will. So if I'm telling you that, hey, what I'm seeing, this isn't working, this is why, here's my assessment of the situation, that is my opinion on the matter. I don't have to say this is my opinion because it's implied. If you are telling me that you want to relieve a coach of his duties which I can remember a certain football coach where people were calling for his head too, and that worked out. Because we had no real reasoning outside the fact, well, this team was 0-8. They're 0-10. And then they got the 3-13-1. And I told you it would carry over, and it carried over. Then you tried to argue to me that the last game of the season against Green Bay was meaningless. It didn't matter. I tried to tell you it's going to carry over. Look what it did. It carried over. You wanted that coach gone. Let's get to USDA Scott, who's on the phone. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Good, brother. Let me help you out here a little bit. Three quick things. I remember in my high school coaching, we were rebuilding a team, rebuilding a program. We were 10-10. We had a 500 season. We were going in, and we were playing, back in the day, a really, really good high school team. And I was just so disappointed after the game because, we played really well and we lost by 16. And this coach, who was a very famous coach in the West Michigan area, he came to me after the game and he said, Scott, your kids couldn't play it any harder, but you cannot beat the Army with the Boy Scouts. And it's a saying that it sounds demeaning somewhat, but it's true to form. We don't have an Alex Ovechkin. We don't have a goaltender that can stand on his head and stop 42 out of 43 shots. We don't have it. We don't have it. Sorry. And we are I hate to say this because it didn't used to be true, but we're a mid-market. Detroit is now a mid-market team with mid-market talent and mid-market coaches. Sometimes you hit a home run. Brad Holmes, home run. Dan Campbell, home run. And putting Spielman as the president, grand slam. We hit the grand slam. But were those names on a tip of everybody's tongue and list for all kinds of other jobs? No. Sometimes you get fortunate. And A.J. Hinch, albeit the jury's still out, but we couldn't have gotten an A.J. Hinch if he wouldn't have had the troubles that he had. He came at a bargain price because of the troubles that were around him. Now, he may build an incredible program here. And I want to say this, too, because you were mentioning it, but you didn't go far enough. Michigan won the Natty. The Lions won not one, but two playoff games. We are hosting the draft that's going to bring close to $200 million to the city. The Tigers are competitive. We're going into this weekend playing the Twins, who I still think are the best team, if not next to us, in the Central. I know what Cleveland's doing, but to get separation this weekend, there are good things happening. And the Red Wings are playing important games in April. I mean, yeah, the Pistons are an abomination right now. But everything else is really good. We've talked about this a million times. There's 11 teams that have ever won more than one Super Bowl. There's 12 teams that have never won it.
Well, Scott, that all depends on if you want to look at your glass and think that it's half full, or if you want to look at your glass and think that it's half empty, right? That's more, you are definitely on the half full side of like, hey, look at all the positive stuff that we have happening. Some people see life like that. Other people don't. I for one, am in the same boat.
Isn't it easier to smile? Isn't it easier to smile, Anthony? Isn't it easier?
Well, it takes more muscles to frown.
Thank the Lord. I say in the mirror, thank you for another day, Lord. And it doesn't matter what the day is.
But it's all mindset, right? It's appreciating what you have. It's a glass half full. We got to step aside, but we'll be back with more X's and Bros. We're going to carry on the conversation next year, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he's a managing shareholder at Dorn Mayhew's Grand Rapids office. Their world headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state, and they have locations all around the world. They have over 550 motivated accounting professionals, 90 years in business, and I mentioned the 10 offices worldwide. So if you want to connect and partner with one of the top CPA, accounting, and business firms in the world, they're right here in Michigan. Dorn Mayhew's Troy office on the east side of the state, and Josh Garvey is a managing shareholder for their Dorn Mayhew GR office. Right there by the S-curve, you'll see the new Dorn Mayhew sign. You can find out more. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. That's DOERENMAYHEW or Dorn.com. They're one of America's and the world's top CPA, accounting, and business firms. They're Dorn Mayhew.
We're teeing off our 10th year at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Get ready for the best tour yet to help neighbors in need while enjoying golf, food, and family fun. Join us June 13th through the 16th at Blythefield Country Club for fabulous food, Discoveryland for kids, and of course, elite women golfers from around the world, competing to help feed our neighbors. Get your tickets now at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. Thank you. Appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program anytime. You can text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. 866-838-4843. Couple of more texts here. This is good. Fire Lalone because he didn't play Killian. Have a nice day. Total crap. Still can't give me a reason. Still waiting on a reason. You know, if you're in the world of academics, right? If you have a hypothesis, you have to be able to prove said hypothesis. That's all I'm asking you to do. You know, it's no different than when people wanted Dan Campbell fired. I told you to hold your horses here. Let's see how this thing plays out. Because I felt like you could see the progress. Maybe other people couldn't. They wanted to move on. 3-13-1. A rah-rah coach, didn't know anything about football, blah, blah, blah. Now, all of a sudden, ESPN talks about how he's such a smart coach. It's incredible how that changes. USDA Scott wants the plaque up in LCA, too. The Wings tried hard that season. And isn't that what professional sports is all about? The friends we made along the way. I just hope everybody has fun. Nobody gets hurt. And we all have orange slices at halftime. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking forward to. Well, I can tell you this much, folks. It's been an active day here on the program. An active day. All right. Yesterday, I saw a tweet come across the wire, and I decided to comment on it. And when I commented on it, the same person who typically comments on a lot of my stuff decided that he wanted to pick a fight yesterday, which is totally fine. I'm willing to. So the original tweet came from Joe Pompliano, and he said, last night's UConn-Purdue national championship game averaged 14.8 million viewers. That means the women's national championship game had more viewers than the men's for the first time ever. UConn-Purdue, 14.8. Iowa, South Carolina, 18.9. That's incredible. Okay. All right. It doesn't change my day, but here's my comment to it. Because what you're asking or what you're stating is that what we have here are equals, right? The problem is we don't have equals in any part of the discussion. So let's go into it. As I stated, which I didn't understand why the national championship game was on TBS to begin with, because it's not over the air. And over the air matters, right? Accessibility matters. I don't know what kind of streaming service you may have, but most streaming services that you can watch live TV do carry your typical news channels, your ABC, your CBS, your NBC, and your Fox, to my knowledge. If I'm incorrect and you're a cord cutter and you don't have any of those stations, do share and make me aware. Okay? So what is being stated here is that for the first time ever, the women had more viewers than the men's. The reason this doesn't really work out is because one of which was on ABC and ESPN at 3 o'clock on a Sunday. The other was at 9:20 on TBS on a Monday night. One had sold-out attendance of 18,300. The other, 74,423. Now, as I stated right after those facts, because that's factual information, you can look it up, it does not take away from an incredibly important women's basketball tournament. The tournament was not only good, it was very important for the progression of women's sports in this country. Now, I'm just confused at how you compare apples and bowling balls. That is where, in the original tweet about the numbers, the pushback began. And there was a lot of it. A lot of it. And what I don't understand from this gentleman is that the Matthew Daly is his name. What I don't understand is why it is such a constant. With this one individual, and because I don't agree on a myriad of different topics, and it can be political, it could be a lot of things related, but I don't agree on anything. I'm not taking a shot at women's basketball, but if you are comparing the two, you have to at least be able to compare them in the same day parts. Like that matters. So I get, because the narrative here, and you might think so too. You might believe that the women's season was more compelling than the men's. And if so, that's your opinion on it. And you're allowed to have that. You're allowed to feel that way. I'm sure Caitlin Clark's father found that Iowa's season was more compelling than UConn's. UConn was also the most dominant team to not get any publicity whatsoever. I turned on the four-letter network yesterday. They had an NBA show, which Lakers-Warriors was important because of the play-in scenario. But that was the entire program. And they stepped aside to have a kid from Kentucky in the studio to tell everybody that he was going to enter his name into the draft. Like, that was a big surprise. Like, why did you go to ESPN to do that? I don't know, but whatever. You got to have your moment. I thought the kid did great on TV. So good for him. The NFL show that followed said NBA show was all about the Dallas Cowboys and the Cowboys offense. Seriously. I mean, you can't make this up. It was NBA Today and NFL Live. Both of the shows yesterday, go back and watch them. It was Lakers-Warriors. It was a fun show. Kendrick and Bob Myers and Richard Jefferson, Malika, like they're all on there and they're all talking about it. And it's a good show. They got good personalities. It's a good mix. It was a fun conversation, but that's the only team they cover. And if you listen to me in the mornings, I feel like there are other things that need to be covered. Guys like Paulo Banchero in Orlando. Guys like SGA in Oklahoma City. Guys like Anthony Edwards, who, by the way, scored 51 yesterday, the Minnesota Timberwolves. If you really go back and look at, I don't know, the turn of the century here, the Houston Texans are the better team than the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are not the best team in their own state. Right? ESPN also has the rights to the women's basketball tournament. So you probably saw a lot more coverage of it this year, and that's fine. It's not to say that the men don't get covered, but it pales in comparison. So, of course, more people who have ESPN on the TV are going to be more aware of what's going on because ESPN promotes their own products. That's why we used to get EPL highlights back in the day and why we don't get them anymore. We went a decade plus without ever seeing the NHL on ESPN. Now, all of a sudden, ESPN has the rights. Matter of fact, last night's game, the Red Wings and the Washington Capitals. What station? ESPN. These are things you need to think about. And so if you're going to compare ratings, right, you would stack shows Monday through Friday at specific day parts against one another. That's how ratings are compared. You would not take a program that's on at 9:20 for a start time on a cable channel and compare that to a 3 p.m. game on a Sunday on a network channel. They're like, so, and it is just going to, like, for whatever reason, it feels as if the men's game wasn't covered nearly like it should have been. For whatever reason, this narrative pushing is going on, and that's fine. Like, I don't care what you watch. It doesn't matter to me. I can probably guarantee you that Matthew Daly has not watched as much women's basketball as I have at the collegiate level, or has the experience in the game. I would argue that to my core. Because it's been since 2006. It's been a very long time. It's been a very long time. Dawn Staley gave some credit to the highlighter squad. That's what they call them there. See, because their jerseys are highlighter colors. At Bowling Green, the colors are orange and brown, so the women would wear orange and white reversible jerseys. And ours, we had the hand-me-downs from the men's team. And Otis Polk was not a small individual at the time. Our jerseys were huge, but they were black. So we were the black squad, as opposed to the highlighter squad that in the highlighter jerseys that South Carolina uses. It's not a shot at women's basketball to ask why they are making the comparison. 3 p.m. on a Sunday is always going to outdraw. And the women did well. It was like the most highly watched non-football broadcast ESPN has had. If anything, it goes to show that people want to watch hoops. They just don't necessarily like what they're being shown at the NBA level. Because there's no reason whatsoever. I mean, maybe there's different stories. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a storyline. That could be. I don't know. It's up to you. But this idea, like I am attacking women's sports by just asking, what in the world are we doing, like comparing the two? Literally, nobody is trying to insinuate that the women's game has suddenly surpassed the men's game. FFS, that's for bleep's sake. Why do some guys have to be so soft? The comparison emphasizes the dramatic change in women's basketball viewership. That's it. Nobody thought this was possible a month ago. Nobody thought that was possible a month ago? Where have you been? Have you not been watching? It's been steadily on the incline. It's been steadily going up. Then explain to me why I should be offended at this rating or comparison. Who's offended? I mean, if anything, you called me soft, so maybe I would be offended at that. But I'm not offended because I don't really care what your opinion is. Trust, I'm aware of who this individual is in real life too. Like it's not, I know who this person is. I'm not butting anything. All I'm saying is, why would you compare a Ford F-150 and a Ferrari? What's the comparison? The F-150 can tow more. Duh. It's supposed to be able to. The Ferrari goes faster. Thank you, Captain Obvious. You wouldn't do that. You would compare the F-150 to, a Dodge Ram or a Chevy Silverado, for example. Those are accurate comparisons. This nonstop badgering of like, this is better than that. That's like, dude, watch my sport thing has got to just be, we got to move on. We got to get past that. For the love of God. It's not a shot at women's basketball. It's not. But it is a completely different game. Same sport, different game. Just watch it. I mean, it's not rocket science. We're built differently. Like, I don't understand everybody, I know everybody thinks everything's equal now. It's not. It's never been equal. It will never be equal. I'll use myself as the example. I am not the same as LeBron James. That is a physically superior human being than me. I just look at the stats. The guy's 6'8", 250 of pure muscle. It's probably actually closer to 6'10", because when he stands next to Anthony Davis, I'm trying to figure out that Anthony Davis is a 7-footer, but somehow LeBron's listed at 6'8". It doesn't make any sense. They're the same height. But, basketball players lie about their height when they get to the NBA level. They like to take some height off, like make them think that, I don't know, they're doing something like even more dramatic at a smaller size. It never made any sense to me, but that's neither here nor there. Right? So I don't necessarily understand the premise of the argument. I don't necessarily understand the premise of the comparison or the need to do so. But if you counter it, of course, the loudmouth majority that we find online gets their panties in a bunch, which you probably can't say that either because that's, and that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. That is the only, you would not compare different shows and different day parts because it doesn't work. You're going to have different audiences. And if anything, it just goes back to my original point of why in the bleep did you have the national championship game at 9:20 at night on the Eastern Seaboard where a majority of the population resides on a Monday? That's a terrible idea. If anything, I would say that this proves my point that the national championship game should be moved to Sunday. Wouldn't that be something? And I know that they had to redo the women's tournament and they have to go into the portals and whatnot, or the hubs or whatever they call them. Portland 2, Allegheny 1, whatever the hell they were. What are those things called? You know what I'm talking about, right? But they play their, they play early round games of the NCAA tournament. They're not on neutral sites. It was losing money. Why would you do that? Maybe this is a really good idea to, I don't know, hitch the two wagons together. Seems like with the development of the super conferences, we may see more of that. When instead of sending your men's basketball team to Maryland and your women's basketball team to USC, they could make a joint venture and just play back-to-back or play the doubleheader. Play the women's game at 5:30 and the men's game at 7:30. There's a novel idea. That's great. This goes back to my original point. Now that we're talking about the national championship on TBS, it should have been on CBS. It should have been earlier than 9:20 and probably shouldn't even be on a Monday. But if you don't want to draw the rating, then don't do it. Then continue to hide it on TBS and put it Monday at midnight and then have 14, 15 million viewers and be like, oh, well, didn't do as well as this. Well, yeah, the deck's stacked against you. Of course, didn't do as well as that. Half the country's asleep. We got to wake up the next day. What's the matter with you? If anything, we probably will see, and as I was going to say, kind of brings it back full circle to why would you play Michigan State on Peacock at 9 o'clock? They're bad. Those are bad choices. That's a bad business decision. Air it on NBC, and if you want to carry it on Peacock as well for people that are on the move, want to watch it in an airport or a hotel lobby or whatever the case may be, they can do that. They can stream it on their device while their kids are watching Scooby-Doo. I wouldn't put Indiana-Purdue on Peacock. I wouldn't put Minnesota-Wisconsin on Peacock. I wouldn't put a flipping football game on Peacock. I don't care if it's BG versus Michigan or not. It's a terrible choice. We need smarter people making better decisions when it comes to viewership. Do it for the people, for the love of God. What about us? All right, here's something you can watch this weekend. It's the UFC, an action-packed fight card taking over Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas! UFC 300 and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the Ultimate Fighting Championships, is giving you a chance to get in on all the action with a knockout offer for every fight fan out there. New customers can bet on any UFC 300 bout right now. Turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right. For the much-anticipated title fight between Pereira and Hill to an exciting undercard, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some big-time bonus bets. Betting's easy. Simply lay down some action on UFC 300, and you'll get bonus bets back instantly, no matter what, win, lose, or draw. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. New customers can bet $5, get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. You got to be 21 plus. You also need to be physically present in Michigan. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/MMA. And we made it through an entire read without a single botched syllable. That's impressive. All right. Studio audience, we're getting a little ready. We're getting worked up now. Hour 3, right around the corner. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. See you on the other side.
We're teeing off our 10th year at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Get ready for the best tour yet to help neighbors in need while enjoying golf, food, and family fun. Join us June 13th through the 16th at Blythefield Country Club for fabulous food, Discoveryland for kids, and of course, elite women golfers from around the world, competing to help feed our neighbors. Get your tickets now at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
June 23rd, the world's most notorious rock band is coming to Soaring Eagle Casino. Motley Crue. The Crew. Part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series. Tickets start at $54 and are on sale now at the box office and online at etix.com. Party hard, then take a ride on the wild side. Motley Crue. Sunday, June 23rd at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Roast Umber is a farm direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defending in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Jordan Walker. Touchdown. Smarty.
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown to Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here, X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports and Network. So great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio. And you can find us worldwide in the iHeartRadio app. If you didn't know that, just search 96.1 The Game, search Fox Sports 1230, search either of them. You can find us there. It's great. Good morning to all of you. Appreciate you tuning in. Text the keyword sports radio, send it to 21,000, or give us a dial the Myers Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843, 866-838-4843. Might have to call this the audio hour. Got great sound from Justin Verlander, great sound from Scotty Scheffler, great sound from the coach Dan Hurley that Ryan just threw to me, that I love. But first, let's talk some wingdings with the one and only Freddie the Pizza Man. Freddie, good morning to you, partner. How are you? I noticed yesterday I sent you a tweet. Did you take your name off the tweet? Did you block the responses?
Yeah, absolutely. You're like a little girl on Twitter. That's what you are, man.
I'm like a little girl on Twitter. How dare you try to emasculate me on my own show?
All you do is complain about Twitter, and you go on Twitter and you play games. That's what you do.
Play games?
Now you don't return my text. I notice you don't return my text.
When did you?
What you do? You go to Twitter. Anthony, don't listen. You already kept me on hold for 25 minutes. I know. I'm not Danny from Brighton. I'm not Scott the steak man. I get it. They get on right away. I've been on hold for 25 minutes, so don't make me lose my my thought here, please. First of all, how are you? You doing okay?
I'm doing great. I sent you a really nice photo on Saturday you never responded to. I thought you would really appreciate that picture of the 84 team.
Yeah, well, I was there that game, so yeah, I saw it live. So yeah, you weren't alive. So, anyways, now let's start here. Okay, let's start here. First of all, ESPN, Malika's the only thing they got going. So Taylor Rooks, I don't know. She doesn't really do it for me anymore. To be honest with you.
What?
She's old news. Malika, yeah, no problem. Now let's get on to the real stuff. You need to stop crying about the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans. Okay, let me educate you, Anthony.
Okay.
The nation doesn't care about the Houston Texans. Okay, they don't care about losing franchises. They care about historic franchises. When you watch ESPN, you watch Sunday Night Baseball. You always see the Dodgers. You see St. Louis. You see the New York teams because they draw ratings. These platforms need money. Okay, you know that, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know. They need money. Now, when the Lions have a cute year this year and the Texans have a cute year, people get intrigued, right? People want new blood. And it was pretty obvious with the Lions, all the attention they got. And then they wet the bed the last game of the season. And what happens? People go back to the historic franchises, and that's what they gravitate to because that's what sells. They have to put out there what sells. Is it right? No, it's not. But these platforms need money, and now they're not even relying on ads anymore. What are they doing? They're charging you a service fee, right? ESPN Plus. You want to see this? You're going to pay. You don't want to see commercials? You're going to pay, right? They're not even dealing with ads anymore, and they're getting money one way or the other because they're paying people like you on the mic way too much money, and they need the money. And that's just bottom line. Am I right or am I wrong?
Are they overpaying the broadcast teams and media personalities? Yes.
A lot of them. Some deserve it. Now,
Tony Romo does not need to be making damn near $20 million a year. That's ridiculous.
Jim Nance doesn't need to be making $20 million a year.
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed there. I mean, but you know my
Yeah,
feelings on that.
Yeah, and this is not nothing against their talent. This is like you're getting $20 million a year, and I'm just assuming CBS pays for everything else, right? Room, board, travel. I'm
Everything.
just guessing, right?
Everything, yeah.
Okay. So add another $1 million in there. So I don't get it. But anyways, I think that's not why I called for. Is you kind of contradicted yourself today, and I felt a little bad. But I'm not the type of person to go to Twitter and tag you and stuff like that. You know, I have a man-to-man talk. And listen, today we're talking about the Red Wings. And I'm glad Ryan called you today. And I was wondering what you tweeted because I don't spend much time on social media, especially at nighttime. I'm playing with my kids. I see you put up a tweet. This kind of you set the football on the tee and then you kicked the field goal this morning. And I think you kind of set that tweet yesterday because you kind of knew what you were going to get into this morning. And I think Ryan kind of called you out on it. I mean, you're basically giving a pass to the Red Wings yesterday. Now, to me, the game, it wasn't really about yesterday. It was really about they had a 9-point lead, and they've kind of wet the bed in the last 3 or 4 weeks. And when that happens, something's got to happen, okay? Now, I sent you a source, a thing, and you called me out on it, and you never said the name. Bob Duff is a credible source. He's a credible name. So when he brings up stuff like that, then you have to listen. Now, you asked me about the player. I'm confusing the two players. That's why I never sent the link. It's either Cop or Comfer. One of those guys, Lalone, about 2 weeks ago, sat him. It was a healthy scratch. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember which player it was, but he ended up coming back and having a good game, and he was asked a question about the goal. He goes, why don't you go ask the coach? See what he thinks. That's what he said to the reporter. So, obviously, there's some friction there. Now,
well, yeah, I mean, if you're a healthy scratch, you're going to be aggravated about it. But if you are a healthy scratch, I'm not really too concerned about what your opinion is on the matter. If you're healthy and they're pulling you out of the lineup, it's because you're not doing your damn job. And if you want to be like, if you want to say, if there's somebody's going to ask you as to why you were scratching, like, I don't know, ask the coach. I don't have a problem with that.
And I totally respect that. Lalone should be the boss. I always say one person should steer the wheel, and that's how I run my business. One person steers the wheel, and if Lalone thought he was a healthy scratch, I totally respect that. And if he wasn't right, but what I'm saying is there's some friction there. And the last 2 years, they've kind of let down some playoff hopes. And eventually, somebody's going to get the axe, and it's probably going to be the coach. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now we shouldn't be bringing up Monty Williams today. We shouldn't be bringing up Dan Campbell from 2 years ago. This is about the Red Wings today. We keep going back to this Dan Campbell thing. They were 19-1 or whatever. Everyone deserved to be really worried about what was going on. Okay, especially the week they traded their best offensive player, Hawkinson. Everyone had the right to say something. So it's a good thing that it worked out. It's a great thing that it worked out. But we can't keep going back to that on today's arguments. We have to stop that. And then you said something to me that I thought was very interesting. You said to me, I go by what I see with my eyes, not what I read and write, or what I read and hear. Well, you endorse The Athletic all the time. So, I mean, if you're going to read stuff, you're going to see with your eyes versus listening with your ears. I mean, Anthony, come on. I mean, when we're having an argument about the Red Wings, we can't keep going back to such and such and such. You know, Killian Hayes and Monty Williams. You can't fire a head coach after 1 year unless he's an absolute disaster in public or this and that. We don't know if the owner or the
Every
general
single
manager,
game has been an absolute disaster on television. It's just not on national TV because they took us off the games. We got to step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this.
In the Den. Step up to the plate with Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sportsbook app that you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today at Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play. It's a deserved day off for the Tigers, who sit at 7-4 through the first 11 games. That seventh win came via a ninth-inning comeback against a Pittsburgh team that, until the final Tuesday result, was tied with the Yankees for the best record in baseball. Look, it's 11 games. So what? Is there a concerning trend? Sure. The Tigers have won just twice in the last 6, and their offense hasn't really clicked like expected. But one-loss record isn't alarming. The better news is that Casey Mize, who needed Tommy John surgery last June and back surgery soon thereafter, hit 98 on the gun. And though he didn't like the location of his fastball, he likes how his body is responding. That's good news as the Tigers embark on an 8-game homestand starting tomorrow.
We're teeing off our 10th year at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Get ready for the best tour yet to help neighbors in need while enjoying golf, food, and family fun. Join us June 13th through the 16th at Blythefield Country Club for fabulous food, Discoveryland for kids, and of course, elite women golfers from around the world, competing to help feed our neighbors. Get your tickets now at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. Let's get right into it here, just based on the premise of that final call. I do really enjoy the coverage that The Athletic offers. I really do. I enjoy that sort of like old school. That's the closest thing I think we can get to like an old school newspaper. I do enjoy their coverage, yes. But reading something from one of our great writers like Max Bultman or Nick Baumgartner does not, it's another perspective. It's what I would refer to as a well-educated perspective, but it's not going to be the basis or of the formulation of my opinion on any given topic, right? And we may have them on as guests of the program to discuss things because I am aware that they are around certain things more often than I am. So that's why. It's really not that. I mean, I have no problem admitting that. As for Monty Williams, the reason Monty Williams was brought into the conversation is because when I ask or question the coach, here is the reasoning why. Right? Here are the reasons why. In the scientific method, if you have an idea, a hypothesis, you would then have to test your hypothesis or your theory, right? You typically use two groups, right? We go through this in science class, okay? But if you have an idea, I just need you to explain to me as to why. It has been a very inconsistent year for the Detroit Red Wings, and as the age-old adage goes, show me a great coach, I'll show you a great goaltender. Now, as for the Twitter thing, Freddie brought this up yesterday, and so I saw the graphic just pop up. I just want to share it with him. That's all. I'm just sharing it with you, Freddie, just so you could see the final scores of the 15-0 national championship season. And it is not all doom and gloom for Detroit sports. The Michigan Wolverines just completed, as I mentioned, a 15-0 national championship, Big Ten championship regular season, national championship in the college football playoff. The Detroit Lions won 2 playoff games, went to the NFC Championship game, and at halftime had the game in the bag, blew it in the second half. What I am expecting out of the Tigers, I don't think that they're going to reach. Scott Harris said as much yesterday to temper the expectations. And he said that I'm Mad Dog before the game against the Pirates. And as for the Wings, they are where we want them to be. They're playing meaningful games in April. That does not mean that I'm going to hang some sort of participation trophy or banner into the rafters at LCA like had a fun season. You're going to win, you're going to lose. I happen to think that Alexander Ovechkin is the greatest player in my lifetime. And I think that if Alexander Ovechkin would have played in the 80s, all the goal records would have been different. They would have had his name on them. That's my own personal opinion on the matter. 80s goaltending was trash. Just go look it up. And then go watch it. Look up the numbers and then go watch it and tell me that, yeah, okay. It's a little different, a little harder to score right now in today's game. But that's neither, I don't want to go down that path, right? Ovi's a Hall of Famer. He tickled the twine last night. Red Wings put it on the Caps, and I thought that they had a really good game outside of 2 moments, and that was it. That's all it takes. They lose 2-1 last night. They get the late goal with 2 seconds remaining from Patrick Kane. Too little, too late. I like the overall, I like what I saw out of the Wings. They just didn't get the job done. And when, your goaltender from Washington, for example, decides that he's going to be made of brick and mortar that night, that's tough. 43 shots the Red Wings had. They lose the season series 2-1. It was a very pivotal game from a standings perspective. I'm aware of all of this. It's unfortunate our team didn't win. And I'm sure that Washington fans would have been irate for Washington. I don't know what Washington Sports Radio is doing this morning. I don't know if they're talking about the Capitals or not. They're talking about the Commandos. I'm not really sure. But had they lost that game, I could understand where they might be a little worked up, a little bit upset over that, just because of where the loss took place. The last month has not been a great month for the Detroit Red Wings. It's been an awful month for the Detroit Red Wings. Like, you could not have played worse at the worst possible time. And sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. But here we are in April, and I was very excited for last night's game. And although I didn't get the result that I was hoping for with the team that I was rooting for, the Detroit Red Wings, I was rooting for the Red Wings. The Red Wings overall. It doesn't matter if they have Mike Babcock or Scotty Bowman or Derek Lalonde or Jeff Blashill. It doesn't matter if they have Dylan Larkin or Steve Yzerman or Gordie Howe. I am rooting for the team and the logo and the name on the front of the jersey. I want them to do well. They have severely underperformed in the most crucial, pivotal time of the season. They should not even be in the position that they are in right now. They shouldn't. They shouldn't be anywhere near this. We had the 7-game losing streak from February 29th until March 14th. Then won 3 out of 4. So you were 3-8. Then lose 4 more. Now you're 3-12. Then you've gone 2 cents. Like, that's terrible. The worst possible time. You had that 6-game winning streak, too, to help pick everything up. Paul is on the line, wants to talk Wings. Good morning, Paul. How are you?
What's up, Anthony? It's been a long time, brother. This is Paul.
Paul, what's up, brother?
Nothing much, man. Just a little frustrated this morning. When you got a 9-point lead in the wild card race, I mean, it takes falling off a cliff to blow that, right? That's exactly what they did. And this is the second year in a row now, and I'm done making up excuses, man. Stevie went out this offseason and acquired enough talent to make the playoffs. And when Jeff Petrie is leading, most defensemen with, total time on ice, that's on the coach, man. If we miss the playoffs, man, Derek Lalonde has got to go. He's got to go. And you know what? It would be a bold move, but it needs to be done. This is just inexcusable for the second year in a row. I mean, we got the talent. We're a way better team than Washington. Yeah, Lindgren played out of his mind yesterday, but, man, that brutal 7-game losing streak followed up by 2 out of 3 wins, and then you lose 4 more in a row. I mean, what are we doing here?
5-14 in the last 19 games.
It's Anthony, it's pathetic. Pathetic. And, I really do think that this falls on the coach. He's not getting the most out of these players. And, again, I mean, what in the heck is Jeff Petrie doing out there, 24 minutes a game? Like, come on. I mean, that's on the coach. And then some of these lines in overtime, it's like, hey, Lalonde, what are you doing here? He's our version. He's the Detroit Red Wings version of Jim Caldwell. Nice guy, yes, man. But he's got to go, man. I don't know if you agree with me on that or not, but he's got to get the boot after this year if we don't make it.
Paul, I'll give you this much. At least you gave me a reason why. At least you pointed to a specific example and said, you know what, I disagree with the fact that Jeff Petrie's getting 19 minutes tonight. At least you gave me that. If you want to make a change, all I ask for is that you give me a reason as to why you want to make the change. Players, they got to be professionals. They got to motivate themselves. I don't need a big rah-rah speech ahead of time. It's great if you can do that, provide that jolt of energy. I'm not saying it's not needed at times, but as a pro player, you got to get up. And with everything in front of you, I expect you to come out ready to play every single night. But at least, Paul, you gave me a reason as to why. We got to hit the break. Great to hear your voice, my friend. We'll be right back with more X's and Bros after this.
Huge here with a reminder that on Thursday, April 25th, I'll be in Detroit for the NFL Draft. I'll be broadcasting live 3 until 6 from the world-famous Caucus Club as they prepare for the private NFL VIP party with Br0's Sports Management and certified NFL PA agent David Gregory. We'll be joined by Josh Garvey and his team from Dorn Mayhew, Matt Golden, the CEO at the Tullymore Golf Resort, will check in, and also our friends from Coppercraft Distillery. Be listening for your chance to win a VIP bracelet to get in to this private NFL Draft Night Bash at the Caucus Club in downtown Detroit, less than a half mile from the NFL Draft Stage. It's being presented by the Michigan Sports Network and David Gregory and Bull Rush Sports Management. Be listening to the huge show for your chance to win a VIP bracelet to the huge NFL Draft Watch Party Thursday, April 25th in Detroit.
Hey, Michigan, let's go big. I'm Herman Moore, Lions All-Pro wide receiver, and I'm talking real big-time winning on the hottest slots and table games on one incredible app, Eagle Casino and Sports.
Sign up now and get up to $1,500. That's right. We'll match your deposit for up to $1,500, and you'll get 100 free spins.
Eagle Casino and Sports. Made in Michigan, made for Michigan.
Must be 21 or older and in Michigan to play.
Roast Umber is a farm direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. A couple of things here before we get into a little, there's just some great sound bites. Terry says it's unfortunate the Red Wings season is over. Put a fork in them. They're done. The bottom line for the Wings, our best players were not good enough down the stretch. The team sagged horribly, 45% on coaches, 55% on players. That comes from Terry. Got a really good piece here from Coach Dan Hurley at UConn that I want to play for you. Ryan sent this over earlier. I thought this was sensational.
There's measurable talents you have to have, right? The height, the speed, the skill set. But we spent a lot of time really focusing on the parents.
The parents.
Yeah, on the parents. Are they going to be fans while they're on campus of their son, or are they going to be parents? Are they going to hold them accountable? Have an expectation that when something goes wrong, that it's not the coach's fault. That it's their son's got to work harder. He's got to do more. He's got to earn his role. We've got a real old school culture here of accountability. I'm an old school coach in terms of the tone I take with my players in practice, the expectations with effort, the focus on winning and we over me.
Like, what does that mean?
Have they played on 7 different travel teams? Have they transferred to 4 or 5 different high schools? When you talk to the parents in the recruiting process, are they constantly complaining about the coaches after a bad game, or are they sending you a text or you having a conversation, where their son has got to do more, he's got to play harder, he's got to work on his skills. They tell on themselves, they drop hints, and you've got the wrong type of kind of people in that inner circle around your players. They'll sink your program.
There it is. There it is. I absolutely love that. From Coach Hurley. I thought that was just a sensational minute and 32 seconds. Like, that is where we are at in a nutshell. Now, there's going to be some different rules that are going to come out. They're going to try to put some academic stipulations on the ability to transfer. But as Phil Martelli told us, we gotta bring the portal. We got to put some guidelines, some bumpers on that, some guardrails, if you will. We've got to get this NIL thing situated and squared away. And then from there, then we'll be okay. But we know with the money involved in college athletics that the players just need to unionize. And that solves all of our problems. All of our problems. We have a set salary cap, and we can move forward from there, and we can stop all this nonsense. But what Coach Hurley is saying is so very true. And it's not to say that he won't take a transfer, because he has. And some guys will leave his program, and that's, it is what it is. You're not going to make everybody happy, because what was the song? Players only love you when they're playing. Was it Fleetwood Mac? It's the truth. That is the absolute truth. If you would have told me two months ago that the conversation today would have been, people want the coach fired. It's crazy, but that is what has happened to this point, and it can be a collective failure at all 3 levels. The players not performing. What is the coaching staff responsible? As Paul said, he wants to see Les Petrie. I get it. I appreciate that he points to a singular thing, and he's like, hey, look, like here's a reason why. I can accept that. I can get down with that. Joe Jumars just tweeted to me, imagine if somebody would have talked about this in the first month of the season. We were putting up goals like the 80s Oilers. Ain't that the truth, right? We were just putting a 6 spot on everybody. Boy, those were the days. 5-1 start. And they had some streaks in there. They'd lose 3 or 4 in a row, but bounce right back. And this end of the season just has been less than stellar. And so I just tweeted out where Alex Lyon has been at. He's 20-18-4 on the season. He's got two shutouts. Goals against per game is at .296 and a save percentage at 90.8%. The February into March has been a little brutal, and last night offense didn't do enough. I mean, they got pucks on net. They just could not score them. I mean, some of the chances they had early on in last night's game make you bite through a cinder block. And Charlie Lindgren, I mean, he was the number 1 star, and he deserved it. He was so close to a clean sheet, as they would say in soccer. But, I mean, Edvinsson had some looks at it. Mo Sider got up 4 shots. We were blocking shots. Our goaltending was relatively good there. But, look, I get it, man. I get the frustration. I get the frustration, and that's what it is. Today was like a venting session for everybody. It truly was. Everybody just getting out there to vent about what's going on. Also, have you seen the Detroit sign? Have you seen the sign that came out for Detroit? Like, did you see this? The renderings where it was going to be like a Hollywood sign. It is not the Hollywood sign. That is not what this is not at all what they told us it was going to look like. I mean, it's pretty rough for the draft, and the residents are not pleased with the overall signage there, the city of Detroit. So we could probably have a conversation at a later date about that. But back to what Coach Hurley was saying, coming off of a great season, and I really think that the message there is strong. And for all of you that have kids that are participating in sports, remember the real reason why they're participating. And it's not to say they can't have dreams and aspirations of playing professionally. We were all that age. We all thought that we were going to go pro in something. We all ended up going pro in something other than sports, right? It's like that old NCAA commercial. But, remember and remind them why we're doing this, right? Why we are going to practice, why we are competing, why we're playing team sports, why we're playing individual sports. I thought that there was really just a really good piece about what it takes to play at this level, and how so many guys kind of have to, Jim Harbaugh used to say he used to pack himself in a submarine, right? And you have to be, there's a certain part of like selfishness that you have to have. And that comes to, being great at anything, right? There's a certain part of, I can't be everything to everybody all the time. Like I'm going to have to go take care of myself a little bit more. I'm going to have to maintain myself a little bit more. And I think that the overall like resounding message of Scheffler, and he got a little emotional during it, is that you have to be able to be willing to do things, for yourself. And the more successful you get, the more there is, I guess maybe pulls in all different directions. Like your phone is just going to ring out of nowhere, and that's what it is. I mean, that's how it happens. People are going to constantly want things all of the time. All the time. And for a lot of these players, they have to be able to, and we see this happen at the collegiate level too. It could be something as simple as, hey, can I get tickets? Right? The amount of people that are going to ask you for tickets is really, it's incredible. It is incredible the lengths that people will go to not have to buy a ticket. When the Wings got into when the Lions got into the playoffs, the amount of text messages I got about playoff tickets, I didn't even respond to them. I'm not responding to that. Like, you're out of your mind. I guess you should have bought a season ticket package. I guess, maybe you should have checked out Ticketmaster or StubHub or something like that. But, even as a player, you get your parents squared away. Maybe your wife and kids and like that. You take care of your immediate, but outside of that, it takes such selfishness in order to be great. And that's in a lot of different fields. Like, you can't. Do you want to be great or not? Like, do you want to be successful or not? And how do you measure, however you personally measure your success, and however you want to, feel about that. Like, that's completely up to you. But you see these people that get to the top of the mountain, and it's hard. It's hard. And you have to say a lot of times, you have to say no to a lot of different things. And that's part of it. And for individual sports like golf, with the Masters right around the corner, individual sports, like, you have to be able to lock yourself away, and it can be very, very challenging for a lot of these people at these levels. That's why a lot of times we have coaches on. I ask them about their kids, I ask them about their wife, their family, because if you're a college coach, the amount of time you spend with other people's kids rather than your own, the amount of time you spend with other people's families rather than your own, it could take a toll. You're always traveling. You're always on the move. This new transfer portal has done nothing but add more work on to those coaching staffs, and it's not easy. And for the wives, they have to take really take one for the team and hold down the fort. And that's why I always give the wives credit and say hello to them and do all that kind of good stuff, because it's it's a part of those players that are really good. Typically, they're kind of locked in, find themselves a good wife that brings them some peace. Then you can reach that next level. You find some chaos there, it ain't gonna be good. You end up like Tiger Woods, right? Excited about the Masters. We're going to talk more Masters leading into tomorrow's obvious opening round coverage there. My buddy Joe from Outkick is on the grounds. I don't know if he got a pass. I don't know if he got tickets. I don't know how he even got there. But I'm going to try to see if he can't join us before he walks into the doors, or because you can't run at Augusta. This isn't the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Like, they don't open the gates and you get the stampede. Like, you cannot run at Augusta. If you run, they'll kick you out. So everybody speed walks. Hilarious. Because they got to get to their spot. Put their folding chair down. Like, what happens? Like, if you get to your spot and you got to get up and go to the bathroom, then what happens? Should be a really fun tournament, though. There's been a lot of talk about the live. Like, the live tour is not going to live long. It's not going to live long. It does not have the only way it survives is because of the money that's being pumped into it, the endless amount of money from the private investment fund of the Saudi Arabian government, or public investment, whatever the hell it is. It's not going to survive. It's just like their soccer league they tried to start, because the Western world just does not care. You can throw as much money in as you want. You don't have the history, the tradition. Like, that stuff matters. It really does. That's why their soccer league, I mean, you can bring in Ronaldo. You didn't get Messi. Messi's wife wasn't going there. Shout out to her. She said, no thanks. Not doing it. I don't care how much money they have. We have plenty of money. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll just go to Miami instead. Like, oh, that's good. The Dubai of the Western Hemisphere. But we in the West, we have our own leagues. We do things differently. The tradition of the PGA Tour matters. I know the day-to-day, like the Valero Texas Open, did that move the needle for you? Probably not. I know that the PGA Tour is struggling as a whole for viewership because it's such a niche sport. So what you did was you had this niche sport. You drove a railroad tie in the middle of it to break it up. And then you were like, oh, well, I can't believe that people, like, yeah, of course. Like, of course. So, everybody around for the Masters, it'll be great. It will be great. We'll have those conversations. People will talk about the Live Tour. They'll talk about the PGA Tour, this divide. I thought they were going to come together. When did that happen? Like, isn't that what, Monahan said last year or in the winter? When he pulled the fast one in the middle of the night while no one was looking, it's like, oh, no, we're going to partner with them. Well, then what? Nothing's happened. The 54 holes, the circus, the DJ, like, it's fun, cool, I guess, for a novelty. But that's what it is. It's a circus. It's a circus that has a golf tournament. Like, if You're not playing for anything. Everybody's already paid. Like, you took the competitive element out of it. Like, oh, it's a team game. Like, it's not. It's not. There are a couple of team events. It's the President's Cup and the Ryder Cup. Like, those are your team events. If the PGA Tour wanted to have like a draft and have a team event, then you could probably raise some people's eyebrows. But this coming weekend, it's Tiger Woods going for a record 24th consecutive cut at the Masters. 24 cuts at the Masters is incredible. But he's not going to be out there forever. Do I hope he wins? Absolutely, I'm pulling for Tiger. Am I going to watch? Of course I am. Is it going to dictate my entire weekend? Yeah, it might. It might. What would be better than going to play golf with the Masters on? Right? Throw it on your cell phone, throw it on your tablet, take it with you out to the golf course. That sounds like a great idea. I might have just come up with a plan. So it's an interesting weekend. It's an interesting weekend. It's a special weekend. For me, this is like the actual kickoff of like summer. Spring's quick. April showers bring May flowers, that whole deal. Like, spring it's here today, gone tomorrow. You get over 65 and sunny, I consider that summer. You start hitting the 70s, like, yeah, that's summertime weather. That's about what it gets to. It would be real hot in late June and in July, and then carry over into August, and boom, football season will be here. But for this weekend, for tomorrow through Sunday, the Masters and golf as a whole will take center stage, and hopefully they can capitalize on it and have a great tournament. Hopefully it gets the coverage that it deserves, and the conversation surrounding it will be fun, and we'll have some good drama there coming down the stretch, and we can see some guys really take off and put together a really successful weekend. Not only is it golf, but on the opposite side of golf, we can have two guys in a ring knocking each other out, and we're good with that, right? UFC 300 coming to Las Vegas this coming weekend. An action-packed fight card taking over Las Vegas for UFC 300. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the UFC, is giving you the chance to get in on all the action with a knockout offer for every single fight fan. New customers can bet on any UFC 300 bout and turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets. That's right, for the much-anticipated title fight between Pereira and Hill. For the exciting undercard bouts, DraftKings is giving new customers a shot to rack up some bonus bets. Betting is easy. Simply lay down some action on any UFC 300 bet, and you'll get bonus bets back instantly, no matter what. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers can bet $5, get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Only with DraftKings Sportsbook. Only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. If you got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Michigan. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/MMA. That is all for us here. Hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday. Hump Day! Maybe the Red Wings will get back on track. Off day for the Tigers tonight. Everybody will be back in action tomorrow, and so will we. Same time, same place, right here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
We're teeing off our 10th year at the Meijer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Get ready for the best tour yet to help neighbors in need while enjoying golf, food, and family fun. Join us June 13th through the 16th at Blythefield Country Club for fabulous food, Discoveryland for kids, and of course, elite women golfers from around the world, competing to help feed our neighbors. Get your tickets now at MeijerLPGAClassic.com.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. The food district is now open. There's something for everyone, from Bubba Coo's Burritos to Bonanno's New York Pizza Kitchen to Guy Fieri's Chicken and Ike's Lovin' Sandwiches. Savor every delicious flavor at the all-new food district. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.